Thanks, Max.
Yeah, but Max, you're the one doing the hunting in the Drivers' Championship now, and turn one here is quite tricky off the start. I mean, how much risk can you afford to take, especially here with how turn one sometimes can play out?
I'll only think about that when I arrive there on the race day. It's not something that I think about now. Every situation is different. I mean, look at every start that we've had here. You always end up in different kind of scenarios. So there's not something that I can think about right now.
So you don't go back, look at video, see how...
You do, just to refresh your memory of what happened, but it's never the same. So it's a bit useless, of course, to already start planning ahead and think what you have to do. I never did that already as a kid. Every start is different.
Is this the best Max Verstappen we've ever seen? We talked to Dr. Marco following Austin, and he said he thinks that even you found a couple of tenths within. All the GT stuff's helping you. You're the most relaxed he's ever seen. Is that true? And how much of an advantage is an ultra relaxed Max against the other two?
I disagree, because for me, yes, it's more enjoyable now. Of course, being able to fight up front again. But I know every time that I sit in the car in good or bad days, I will always give it everything I have. And that has never left. And that's why I don't think I suddenly drive faster now. I just have a more complete car to be able to fight back up front. And then it's just more enjoyable. But I always try to extract the most out of it. And what I do outside of Formula One, it's been already a long time coming. And now I've been doing it maybe a little bit more in real life, but I did it just as much in the virtual world, so nothing really has really changed.
Just quickly, why are you so good in Mexico?
I don't know. I mean, it's a very complicated track. It's very different to most places. Of course, yeah, we have won here quite a bit, but for me, every year is different. So. Yeah, time will tell if we're going to be good again. But so far the track, it's very particular with the curb riding and the low grip that you have, and I hope that the car can work well again.
You're back in Mexico. You win 5 times here. You're the favorite to win, but there's a lot of things: the track, the weather, and also the crowd in the grandstand. What do you expect from this weekend? Because it's going to be very difficult. Everybody says that you are unstoppable right now, but you are working hard.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm expecting a fun weekend. The crowd has always been amazing here. They love Formula One. They really get very passionate about it. And then, of course, the stadium, the atmosphere there is crazy. Mm-hmm. The track is very complicated. It's very difficult, very low grip, but at the same time, very difficult to just get right. The qualifying is always very intense and easy to make a mistake. So we need to be on top of all that and really try to maximize all that. And yes, the last few races have been very good, but that's not a guarantee that it's going to be good here, right? So we have to wait and see what we can do.
And this is a thrilling end of a season.
Yeah, it's good for everyone. Keeps it exciting.
Did you know that Max Verstappen arrives in Mexico completely transformed? What seemed like a lost season has turned into a complete rebirth, and his statements before the Mexican Grand Prix confirm it. But what's most surprising isn't his words, but what they're hiding about Red Bull's future and its fight for the title. Before continuing, give me your opinion. Do you think Verstappen can turn the championship around in the last 5 races? Because what's happening inside Red Bull could change everything. Stay until the end, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Max Verstappen arrives at the Mexican Grand Prix with a completely different energy than he showed during the first half of the season. What was once frustration is now pure determination. The Dutchman, a 4-time world champion, is going through a moment in which his connection with the car and his team has reached a rare point of maturity. In the pre-weekend press conference, Verstappen spoke with a calmness that reflected not resignation, but absolute control of the situation. He openly stated that the RB21 finally feels balanced, without the sudden changes in behavior that plagued him for months. That single sentence changes everything. It means that Red Bull, after a long period of uncertainty, has found the technical foundation it had been searching for so long. On a personal level, the change has been just as significant. During the most difficult months, Helmut Marko even suggested that Verstappen had lost motivation, insinuating that the lack of victories was affecting him emotionally. But in Mexico, Verstappen responded with the serenity of someone with nothing to prove. "I don't agree," he said without hesitation, recalling that every time he gets in the car, he gives his all. That kind of statement isn't just a defense. It's a reaffirmation of identity. The mentality that led him to dominate Formula One since 2021 remains intact, but is now accompanied by an emotional maturity that was previously unseen. His entourage has also noticed. Helmut Marko, once one of his harshest critics, acknowledged that Max's attitude has changed. Now he seems relaxed, smiling, and enjoying the sport again. This lightheartedness is dangerous for his rivals because a Verstappen at peace is an unpredictable and ferocious Verstappen. Laurent Mekies, for his part, described him as a driver who is raising the bar every weekend, suggesting that the team itself is amazed by the Dutchman's ability to reinvent himself. The competitive context also amplifies this sense of rebirth. Verstappen arrives on an impressive streak, 4 wins in the last 5 races, a performance that has allowed him to cut more than 60 points in just a month. What seemed an unbridgeable gap with Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris has now narrowed to a manageable distance. The narrative has changed. He is no longer the corner champion, but the silent hunter preparing to attack at the exact moment. Mekies has staunchly defended the continued development of the RB21, arguing that each race offers an opportunity to learn and improve the tools of the trade that will be essential for the next technical cycle. In his own words, it is vital to get to the bottom of it because the knowledge acquired now will inform the 2026 model. This reasoning has convinced Verstappen, who sees Mekies' philosophy as a demonstration of pragmatic leadership and a commitment to the present without neglecting the future. However, behind this apparent harmony, there are signs of internal friction. Some engineers consider continuing to update the car at this stage a reckless move under the current budget constraints. Helmut Marko, always straightforward, livened up the conversation with an enigmatic phrase. "We still have something up our sleeve." This hinted that Red Bull is preparing a hidden upgrade, possibly for Mexico, Brazil, or Qatar, a move the team has kept secret so as not to alert McLaren. But this strategy has also set off alarm bells within the Milton Keynes factory itself, where some staff fear that the 2026 development deadlines will be compressed. Watch, for his part, has defended the team's usual method, working late, taking risks, and reaping the rewards when everyone else has already taken their foot off the accelerator. This way of operating is what has made Red Bull a competitive giant even in difficult years, but it is also what generates tension whenever budgets and resources must be allocated with pinpoint precision. Mekies has proven to be the balance between Verstappen's urgency to win now and the institutional need to plan for the future. His leadership has been consolidated amidst the crossfire, and his words before the Mexican GP sum up the current mentality. "We will continue with our approach for the upcoming races, putting the best possible car on track." Behind that phrase is a calculated decision. Red Bull will not give up on the present, even if that means pushing the limits of the system. Pierre Wach, the technical director, has been one of the main architects of this restored confidence. He confirmed that the latest updates to the RB21 have worked as expected, and that the team has managed to master the car's complete behavior. In other words, Red Bull has regained control over its own creation. They no longer depend on chance or a favorable circuit. Their technical package is competitive on any type of layout. This balance between aerodynamics and traction, along with more predictable tire performance, has given Verstappen the ability to push the car to the limit without fear of it betraying him in the most critical corners. And when the Dutchman feels confident, he is practically unstoppable. Verstappen, for his part, has understood that calm is his new weapon. He no longer needs to sweep from the first lap or prove anything with every overtake. His mentality is now based on patience and seizing key moments. In his words, "We need to be perfect." That phrase, which might sound like a competitive cliché, has a deeper meaning. Red Bull can't afford a single mistake because any misstep could undo weeks of progress. That collective awareness has raised the level of focus within the team to a point where every session counts, every lap is scrutinized, and every adjustment is discussed with the seriousness of a championship final. Recent performance also supports that confidence. 4 wins in 5 races aren't a fluke. They're the result of a technical team that has reached maturity. The RB21 isn't just fast, it's consistent. Even on tricky circuits like Austin, where temperature conditions and tire were often destabilized teams, Verstappen managed to maintain a pace superior to that of McLaren and Ferrari. That consistency is the best indicator that Red Bull has left its turbulent period behind. And with a car that finally responds to every correction, Max can focus on what he does best, driving to the limit with the confidence of someone who knows the car's every reaction as if it were an extension of his own body. The team's mentality has also evolved. Red Bull no longer races with the fear of losing, but with the determination to regain what belongs to it. The internal message is clear. It's not just about fighting for points, but about showing that the team's hegemony is not over. Verstappen knows this and conveys it with every gesture. His communication with the engineers is more fluid, his analyses after each session are more detailed, and his technical feedback has once again served as a guide for car settings. The connection between driver and machine, which seemed broken just a few weeks ago, is now stronger than ever. The RB21 arrives in Mexico with a configuration that seems tailor-made for the circuit. The Honda RBPTH003 engine, equipped with a turbocharger with a slightly smaller diameter than its rivals, has proven to offer a faster response in the thin air conditions that prevail in Mexico City. This technical detail, almost invisible to the general public, is one of Red Bull's greatest weapons. The Red Bull engine manages to maintain a more stable power delivery, reducing the famous turbo lag, and allowing Verstappen to better utilize the hybrid energy on the long main straight. This efficient power management not only means higher top speed, but also less mechanical stress, something essential on a circuit where cooling is one of the greatest challenges. On an aerodynamic level, the car also seems ready to shine. The latest improvements introduced after the Monza and Singapore Grands Prix optimized airflow over the body, reducing drag without sacrificing downforce. This is especially important in Mexico, where the low air density forces teams to use high downforce wings similar to those in Monaco, but without achieving the same grip effect. Red Bull, thanks to its aerodynamic efficiency, manages to generate more grip with less drag, allowing it to reach speeds exceeding 345 kilometers per hour, even with extreme configurations. In practice, this means Verstappen can attack slow corners without compromising his performance on the straights, a balance few teams have mastered. Another key factor is cooling. In Mexico, the high temperatures and altitude mean the air has less capacity to cool internal components. Red Bull has worked intensively on this area, introducing specific improvements to the RB21's side pods and ventilation systems. These modifications, designed to withstand thermally demanding circuits, have allowed the car to maintain consistent performance even in conditions where other cars suffer from overheating brakes, tires, and the power unit. The combination of an efficient cooling system with optimized aerodynamics makes the RB21 a nearly perfect single-seater for the demands of Mexico. But beyond the technical data, there is another factor that may prove even more decisive for Verstappen's mind. His relationship with Mexico goes beyond the statistical. Every year he comes to the circuit, he seems to regain some of the aggressiveness and mental clarity that led him to dominate in his best seasons. His driving style fits perfectly with the characteristics of the track: aggressive underbraking, patient through corners, and precise in acceleration. Verstappen will have to hand over his car during free practice 1 to youngster Arvid Lindblad, a regulatory requirement that all teams must fulfill at least twice a season, but which in this case comes at the worst possible time. Losing that track time on a circuit so sensitive to altitude means foregoing valuable calibration time just when the team needs to gather data on tire performance and temperature management. Furthermore, the Mexican track is often dirty and has low grip during FP1, so the window for obtaining useful information is limited. However, this decision is no coincidence. Red Bull chose to fulfill its obligation in Mexico precisely because that first practice session is of lesser significance compared to other circuits. Even so, it is still a strategic sacrifice in a phase where every detail can determine a pole position or a second-row start. Far from showing frustration, Verstappen has accepted this decision with a maturity that reflects his current state. He knows that maintaining a strong relationship with Red Bull's internal structure and its young driver program is essential in the long term. In fact, his willingness to give up his seat to Lindblad has been seen within the team as a show of leadership. Rather than imposing his authority, he has chosen to show confidence in the process. Lindblad, for his part, views this opportunity as a crucial test, as the Briton is being evaluated for a possible promotion within the Racing Bulls program, making this FP1 session a double-edged sword. It serves to develop a future talent, but deprives Max of information on a circuit where any adjustment can make a millimeter difference. Now the question remains, will Mexico be the turning point that confirms Max Verstappen's resurrection and his path to a fifth world title? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Red Bull has what it takes to complete the comeback, or that McLaren will hold out until the end? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.